Hello and welcome to Default Profitable, the show that's a toolkit for building a real business with real profits. Whether you're a founder, a leader, or a curious builder just starting to dream big, this podcast is a toolkit for creating profits and maintaining a business. I'm your host, Matt Nettleton. Today, my guest is Ron Ladner. Ron, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here. How you doing?
Good. So I'm just going to confess this right up front. You own our favorite restaurant in Pensacola, Shaggy's. So this is actually kind of exciting for me. I enjoy having conversations like this.
Yeah, good. Well, it's nice to know we have supporters in Indianapolis.
Yes, all over the country, even in the Midwest. So why don't, before we jump into your business, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got here?
Well, my name is Ron Ladner, and I just released a book, and the book is called Shaggy's Cheeseburgers, and it's a story about how we literally accidentally founded Shaggy's, and it was in our hometown, Pass Christian, Mississippi, and the town was devastated from Hurricane Katrina. We lost everything, and the restaurant was just an idea to give a spark to the town and just create this gathering place where people could come in and, find hope, laugh, meet with others, feel welcome, a place where you go and find hope and happiness. And, we move that forward, that same mission. We want to create a place in a space and make people feel better. And we haven't stopped doing that. And it was a formula for success.
Yeah. So was this the first restaurant you had owned?
Yeah, I'd never been in the restaurant business, but we said, let's build this cool place to make people feel better, and like I said, we've carried that forward and we've kind of stuck with that mission, and nothing to do with, profits or making money. Let's make people feel better. And the result of that is a very powerful brand and a very strong operations.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You said that you started the business by accident. So give me a little bit, like the hurricane rolls in, destroys everything. When did you start thinking about the restaurant? Was it immediate while all the devastation happened, or was it shortly after? Or
it was just watching hope fade away from all the people in town. And, there's so many things that we lost, and there were so many things that we missed. Our church was gone, but one of the things that you could see in the souls of everyone is that we did not have a place where people could go out on a Friday, see old friends, get cheered up, and after several months, it took forever to build our town back, but it just kind of hit me that, and I was already where the first Shaggy's is located. I was already kind of in discussions with those guys to buy their property, but it wasn't going to be for, just a restaurant. And we decided to move forward with it and say, hey, let's build this place. And we opened it. And in my mind, it wasn't a long-term permanent situation. It was like, hey, let's build a place where everybody can come and feel good about themselves. And when everything comes back, we'll turn this into something else. But it was so, powerful. We didn't have a choice, and it was very popular.
So, this is probably 168, 169 episodes in, and everybody talks about when you start a business, you got to have three things, right? You got to have a detailed strategic plan with all kinds of data and accuracy. You got to have 6 months of reserves. You got to have a clear understanding of what people want to pay you for. When you think about those three things as the prerequisites, how many of those did you have?
I had the reserves.
That's good.
There was no detailed plan that went into this at all. There was no study of demographics. And I think, kind of always my advice to young people is, I think you need one thing. I think you need the passion for what you're doing and the research and the reserves. You may need 12 months reserves. It just depends on what business you go into. But
Yeah.
if you go, whatever you do, if you have that passion, I think that's the key.
Yeah. So you actually just having one of 3, you have more than about 145 other people. So
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you really ought to have that." I didn't have that, but you ought to.
Yeah.
So you jump into this, you're recovering from the hurricane. It's a small town, you're giving people a place to go. What are some of the things that you learned after you started the business? I'm assuming this is kind of the topic covered in your book.
Well, what I learned is that, if you focus on moving past yourself, even in a business world, we're taught through faith and other, social situations that we should take care of others first, but we never really talk about doing it in the business world. And I think, like I said, I had no intention whatsoever in opening a restaurant, but we did it for the right reason. And what we learned is that if we move past ourselves and truly put the needs of other people first, that's really the way to build the culture that you need. And that's one of the we talk about that in the book. It's really important to have that strong culture where people don't have to ask why or how. It's in our culture. It's what we do.
So, how did you establish the culture initially by design or by default?
Well, I come from the software world. That was where my entire career was in the software world. And if you know anything about software companies, they're big culture centric
Yes.
uh, companies, and so that's all I really knew. But what I found is that the people in the restaurant business, there's no culture there, and the workforce, the pool, is typically people who have a little bit more problems. And I think that's kind of caught my attention is that, hey, we can help these people, right? We can help them grow and get better, and that's kind of how the culture manifested itself.
Okay. And so you started looking out. At what point did you formally try to chase a culture? I mean, you kind of realized it just common sense wise, but how long were you in the business before you said, "Hey, we can do this intentionally"?
I think it was pretty early in the business because I recognized it immediately that there is, these people are craving appreciation, attention, and opportunity. So we focused, the culture kind of grew on uh, this effort to help grow these people in their career and just teach them, basic communication skills. And that's the culture kind of grew out of that, is that a lot of these folks never had a chance, right? And in a way, we were trying to help them make up for the chances that they missed, whether it was advice or, you know, pay for them to go back to college or take courses or training or whatever it may be. It was an individual situation, but we're always there to help them come out of a hole that was created years ago. And that's kind of was the foundation of how we built our culture.
And then so Shaggy's started in your hometown. When did you open your second restaurant?
Well, I had no intention of continuing the restaurant business. And my goal was, we sold our software company and didn't make enough to retire, but made enough that I left Atlanta and went back to my hometown. And I wanted to do nothing but commercial real estate development with 0 employees. And I kind of embarked on that part of my career in 2008. We opened the first Shaggy's in 2007. And so 2008, that's the financial crisis, and it was the worst time to like start developing anything.
Yes.
And as I struggled to find opportunities, uh, one thing I did notice is that during this recession, we were still selling cold beer and cheeseburgers. People were still coming in us, and Yes, hold on for a second. This is a sustainable business model that works in good times and bad times.
Yes.
And I just got to the point where I said, this is going good. And this is in a small town. Imagine if we went over to Biloxi, which is 25 miles away and 5 times the population. And that's exactly what we did. In 2010, we opened our second location in Biloxi, Mississippi. And that restaurant did twice the revenue. Um, and, going back to that, when did I know? After our first full year, we did 5 times the revenue that I projected. And again, it was in a recession. So it just kind of got me interested.
Yeah, so I work with a lot of companies, and we refer to customers as the world's greatest investors in startup businesses because
Yeah.
all they want is for you to do what you do. They don't want anything else. It sounds like you found a hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and beer that people were willing to buy and be happy with.
I think we focus on the experience, and that's part of my software background, right? I didn't grow up as a manager in Chili's, right?
Right,
And if you look at these guys, most of them all have bad habits, management habits, and it's just because everybody adopts that this is the way it's always been done, and that's the way it's supposed to be done. And
right.
I recognize early that, hey, if we can shift the culture and the expectations of like the workforce, we could create something great and focus on, making the customer feel good, making just like we did day one. They come in here, they need to feel good about themselves when they leave, and they need to be happy. How do we do that? And to do that, your employees have to be happy if they're going to make other people happy. So we kind of started from, you know, the base, and let's work on creating a workforce that we take care of them, make them feel appreciated, and let's do the things that they need for them to be happy.
All right, that's a great place to start. So 2007, you opened the first restaurant. 2010, you opened the second restaurant. When did give me kind of like the highlights. When did you hit your third restaurant?
In 2011, and that was we still had the financial crisis.
Right.
Uh, we used to, our hometown. We were 60 miles from New Orleans, and we went there quite a bit. And our first stop was always Margaritaville. And I got to know the manager there for years. We became good friends, and we were just there in August. And he said, Do y'all ever go to Pensacola Beach?" And I said, "Dude, I haven't been there in years and years." He said, "Well, Jimmy opened up a new hotel there. You guys should go check it out." So a few weeks later, we were just trying to figure out what we're going to do. We said, "Let's go check out the hotel," right? And we drove our location. It was foreclosed. It was just a piece of land, and there was a sign there, and it's like, "Uh-oh, this looks like it could be our spot." And we did. I went to all the restaurants on the island uh, that weekend and said, "Hey, we can compete with these guys, right?" And that was our third location was Pensacola Beach, and that was in 2011.
All right. How many total do you have now?
We have 5.
Okay. And when did those pop on? Were those pretty quick, easy too?
Yeah, and the 2 or 3 years following, about 2015, we had all 5 locations, and we made a decision. Most people in our space, they want to grow by adding locations, and I think they get a sense of accomplishment by the number of locations they have. We turned the model upside down, and we decided to, instead of expanding locations, let's expand our current locations and our current footprint. And so since 2019, we've grown our revenue 48% at those locations.
Oh, same store sales are up. Nice.
Yeah, very much. We just take each location and say, where can we generate more capacity, right? Where can we? And we kind of got this idea after we opened Biloxi. Uh, Another restaurant came in next door to us, and they did pretty well, right? A very similar menu, and they also did well off the people who left us because they could the wait time was so long, right? So we said, what can we do to keep people here and attract more people? And in each location, we've done different things, different activities, different revenue streams to bring more people in, and that's why our revenues is up that much.
All right. Well, that's pretty solid. What other lessons have you learned? I mean, obviously focusing on customer experience and focusing on employee growth so that your employees create that customer experience have been 2 big lessons. What else?
It's so hard to digest the financial investment that you can make in your employees and have the vision to see the return on it. And, you know, the average tenure for restaurant workers is 75 days in the United States. For us, it's 3 years. So, but that takes a financial investment. That takes an emotional investment, and a lot of business people just can't see it, you know? And we started a 401k plan 2 years ago, and the balance today is $600,000. Half of that was a match from my business partner and I. So it sounds like a lot. It's $300,000 we paid over the past 2 years, but the return on that is far more than the monetary return, because now we've created a group of people who take a bullet, right?
Yeah.
They love working there, and they won't take advantage of us. They appreciate it, and we do a lot of different things like that. And it just kind of taught me that you can help people become better people in the business. It doesn't have to be outside the business, but you can do that in the business, and it pays off for the business and for them personally.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. So, what else did you have to learn as you spun this up?
Um, I think that just understanding the retail. I've never been on the retail side. I've always been business to business, not business to consumer.
Yes.
And you know, understanding, learn that you know to compete in a restaurant for us, you don't necessarily have to have the best. We don't have to have Michelin stars to
Right.
be successful. That people just they want to feel good, right? And it sounds kind of corny, but people want to feel good. They want to be recognized, and they want to be appreciated and respected, and that's our culture. Everybody that comes to that door, we try to make them feel that way, and it works for us.
Well, and again, not to make this about me, but that is absolutely the reason that you're our first stop when we get to the beach, because that's how we kick off vacation. Feels
Yeah,
like
we're good.
vacation when we walk in.
I can't wait to tell my employees there that
Yeah,
they're going
yeah.
to kick out of that.
So, all right. Now you come from the software world. You've done pretty well in the restaurant world. My guess is that you have some people that come to you and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting my own thing." Right? If somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to leave the big software company. I'm going to go start my own business." How do you handle that conversation with them?
It's pretty simple. It's when I first started my company, I was working for a guy. He said, you need to go start your own company. He said, you have this uncanny ability to get in front of the right people. And he said, that's a gift. You need to go look in the mirror, and you need to ask yourself, am I willing to put in the time, the sacrifice, the money, and the sweat to become independent and free? And that's exactly what I did. And I decided that I'm willing to do it. And I think as long as you can look in the mirror and ask yourself that question and say, yeah, you have to have the passion for what you do and focus on the things that matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see too many people who they're going to start their own company and say, all right, I'm starting my own company. All right, what are you going to do? Man, I'm going to get an LLC. I'm going to go find some office space. I'm going to get some supply. I said, whoa. Go sell something,
Yeah.
right? You don't need all that. That's an easy hunting. Forget about the hunting money. Just go sell something. Go get some revenue going. And I think a lot of people kind of miss that.
Yeah.
Just understanding that importance.
Yeah. All right. So if 2025, Ron, could go back to 2007, the night before you started Shaggy's, and you could say, "Hey, listen, just so you know, everything works out. It'll be fine. But tomorrow, when you actually start this business, here's the thing that you should do first." What would it be?
The thing I would do first, I think we did it, and that's just move forward full speed. It's go, right?
Just
Even if
hit
it's a
go.
mistake. Yeah, even if it's a mistake, do it full speed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you've thrown out a whole bunch of really good advice. Take care of your people so your people take care of your clients. Just go find some revenue. That's how you have a business. Go full speed. Like, just those four things are pretty much gold. Do you have any other wisdom you would share with a new or aspiring business owner?
You know, our employees, that you walk in and you ask them this question, it's all of them understand that, you know, fa- so many people fail because they tend to waste time on things that don't matter, right? They get caught up with drama. And even I see smart people fall into that same trap. And it's like, figure out what is really important. Just like uh, just earlier, revenue. We can't do anything without revenue.
Yes,
We have to have revenue. That's the most important thing. We can cut costs later, but we have to have that revenue, and focusing on the things that matter is, to me, the most important thing, and sometimes the biggest stumbling block for people who are starting a business or starting out in their career.
yeah, that's great advice. I mean, that it really doesn't. That it's not just in restaurants. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
all the things you're saying are good. Well,
Well,
that's a
yeah, we yeah, as we take our employees through, management training, we make it clear that we're training them to be managers of people and business. And whether that business is a bank or inside Microsoft or whoever it may be, we're not teaching you how to run a restaurant. We're teaching you how to motivate people, how to inspire people, how to grow people and get them to perform. And once you can do that, you can go in any industry and be successful. And that's kind of our goal when we train our people to become leaders.
that's awesome. What was the name of your book again?
Shaggy's Cheeseburgers.
All right.
And we just hit number one bestseller on Amazon for business biographies.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a quick 23 minutes. We're gonna have a link in the show notes to your book and to any other
Okay.
information. We've got some links from you. So if somebody wants to learn more about you, they can head in there. I'd like to thank you for being a guest.
Well, thank you for being my guest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worked out.
Yeah.
And for everybody listening, hey, there's three ways you can help us. Leave a review, hit subscribe, or share an episode that you like. We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, stay focused, keep working, stay profitable.